But if you do that, there's a good chance somebody's going to kill you. And in this arena, when your character dies, it isn't like another video game where you like start over somewhere else. It's gone. You lose everything for good. You have to start over from scratch. So if you've been playing the same character for a year, all that work is gone.
God.
So yeah,
hardcore mode.
So yeah, it pretty much exactly what it is. It's been really fun.
I don't have the stress management skills that I need. I drink too much as it is. I don't need that.
You wouldn't believe how relaxing it is because there's no it's all, like I said, it's all text. You choose what you want to do. People are really helpful.
Mike,
I'm
making stamps, for fuck's sake. Come on. This is the kind of person you're talking to right now. And you're telling me that losing a character that I've spent years on would be less stressful.
That usually only happens if you piss somebody off, and you're not really the type of person to go pissing people off on purpose, or B, you get a bounty on your head and the bounty hunter catches you. And well, I suppose I could see you getting a bounty on your head. I mean, you drink White Claw.
I do. Exactly.
That
100%.
alone justifies a bounty.
Yeah, that was it right there, man. I was like,
fucking guy is a White Claw drinker.
As a matter of fact, where's my bounty hunter hookup? I gotta call somebody.
I don't know, dude.
You and the $2 bill seltzer over there.
Yeah, I know, right? What up with that?
The fucking tangerine. Is it tangerine? Motherfucker's drinking tangerine.
Girly drink you got there.
I don't know why I go Jersey with my Hitman every time.
It's so easy. It's so
just makes sense.
Right, but I mean, can you imagine a Southern Hitman?
Yeah, I mean,
true.
It doesn't really work as well.
Well, you probably had some in Garfield's Crossing, I'm guessing.
Well, they're just your standard creepy. You got a pretty mouth, boy.
Right, they're deliverance guys.
Right, less bounty huntery, more creepy rape family. So
right, so I was actually trying to think of what's a good line. What's a good Hitman line? Like what would you say in a Jersey accent or a Detroit accent? What's a Hitman line?
Tony Luzano says hello.
Right. Sleeping with the fishes and all that.
There you go.
Oh yeah. So
fucking cement shoes.
I'm trying to think of the Southern accent. It's hard to hear it in a Southern accent. So like sleeping with the fishes.
Sleeping with the fishes, y'all. I'm gonna make you sleep.
Sleeping with the fishes, y'all. I'm gonna make you sleep with the fishes.
Nobody would take you serious. Like,
I know. That's why it doesn't make no sense. But I'll bet you anything, if somebody came up to you and pulled out a gun and said, "We're gonna make you sleep with the fishes tonight," that you'd probably still get a little bit scared.
Well,
I definitely would get a little bit scared. Yeah.
I think it has more to do with the gun than...
Right, exactly. Because if they didn't have the gun, you'd be like, "Sleep? What? Do you have like a warehouse full of fish?"
What would a southern hitman / murderer say to be scary, to make you scared?
We're gonna make you sleep with the crocodiles.
I take pleasure in gutting you, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
exactly.
Now we're talking.
Yep.
Now we're talking.
What is that from? What is that from?
On the wall like
The Rock. There you go.
That was from The Rock, right?
I'm gonna put your head on my wall.
Yeah.
It can't not go creepy though. Yeah. Like there's a little bit of like.
It's true.
Try and do it in your regular Southern voice, like just your voice. But sinister, but
okay.
not.
All right.
Not.
So. I'm gonna put your head on my wall. No, it still goes there. Yeah, you still a little bit creepy.
I'm gonna put your head on my wall, boy.
Too breathy.
Yeah, you take the breath out of it.
Take your sack and make a golf ball out of it.
Yeah. Son, you better step back or I'm gonna put your fucking head on my wall.
I've probably heard that in a high school somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was not in.
You hang out in high schools, do you? Okay, well.
Not anymore. Back. This is come on, 15 years ago.
Dude,
Give me a break. Give me a break.
In the 80s and the 90s, high school
actually
was brutal,
it was more than
but
15
it wasn't
years ago. It was
Yeah,
now.
don't. You're gonna really start getting depressed. You don't need it. You're
No,
drinking
now it's
White
20s.
Claw already.
I
Let's
had a
just
conversation
chill.
with a buddy of mine. We're getting so off topic here, folks. I had
Yeah.
a buddy of mine. I was talking about the last time I'd done a particular thing, and I was 7 years old.
Mhm.
And I went, man, it's been 30 years since I've done this. And then I went, oh, that hurt to say. And he goes, yeah, it hurt to hear. This is a kid who was born in the 90s. And I was like, fuck you, asshat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Exactly.
jerk.
Exactly.
So
Somebody talking about how, like, it hurts to get out of bed, and they're like 28.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
like, dude, shut the fuck up. You have no idea. If I could literally just transfer my entire experience to you for 15 seconds, you would be traumatized for life.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, tell me, Chris, seriously, like like everything that you feel when you have to get up in the morning, if you could give that to somebody who's like
Oh.
15 or 20 years old,
Yeah.
they would be like, how are you functioning?
Yeah. I have a favorite Robert Crumb single frame comic that's just like a one-off that he did, and it's a drawing of himself in like on sitting on his bed in the morning and leaning over and tying his shoes,
mhm.
and it says, see if I can get this right. I don't know about you, but when I lean over to tie my shoes in the morning, I think to myself, for Christ's sake, what now?
Yeah. Yep.
I
Fucking
love that.
exactly.
I just love it. It's just like so, yeah.
It's like that thing, and I'm sure at least both of you at least done it at least once, where you go to do, it doesn't really matter what, get off the couch, get up in the morning, open the fridge, but it's some menial task, and
Right.
you tweak your back.
Oh.
And you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do? I didn't.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter. Like some muscle spasm will happen and you'll just be in pain. And you're like, I wasn't doing anything.
I am one of those people who has pulled things while sneezing.
Yes.
That's a little embarrassing, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, let's digress.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Back
Back to
to-
the
digression.
The original. So yeah, welcome to the stream, folks.
Oh, that was the topic. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
figure out what topic we digressed from, but yeah.
well, the topic you digressed from was literally under dead water.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's I'm at this point I'm kind of traumatized by under dead water, so
I can imagine.
Why are you traumatized by under dead water?
I'm traumatized by the amount of work it is, probably that mostly.
Yeah, there's a lot of work.
Now that you're doing some of it, that's a big help.
And I think me and Clayton are looking at you going, uh-huh.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yep. Welcome to it, bruh.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, but that's I asked for this.
That's the labor of love. It is. It's 100% labor of love.
Yep.
Tonight, though, we have a couple special things. We've got another 2 Jaws, the Judy audio wikis, and then you have a new toy that's actually an old toy that
is new to you.
There you
There
go.
it is.
That featured in episode 7.
Yeah, just a little bit of it. Actually, no, quite a bit of it in one scene, though. Just one scene.
Yeah.
Just it's what's the greatest thing about analog gear is that I mean I could spend a ton of money and get this thing retrofitted for MIDI, in which case I could play it as a normal controller keyboard, have my computer remember all the notes.
Yep.
And that way I can just move the notes around on the screen instead of having to replay the whole part again. But it's liberating to have to play that part over again. Each time, because it's always in the moment. Every time it's in the moment. You're not an editor anymore.
No.
I'm not a freaking editor over here. What do you think I am? It's you're a composer or you're a performer or both.
Yeah.
Or sound designer or whatever. But it's great. It's really fun. And it's been a long time since I've had a piece of analog gear. I mean, I've done stuff. Obviously, Foleying is analog, right? So Foleying, sound design, lots of that is analog. But as far as music goes, it's just so much easier, to have a MIDI keyboard connected to your computer and have all your instruments in VSTs on, in a DAW and just control them. And because you can then, after you play it once, you can screw it up totally and then go in and fix it, make it all work. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I was going to do that anyway. In fact, frankly, half the time I just draw the notes on the goddamn screen. I don't even play a keyboard. I just draw them in
Right.
in a
Right.
music editor. So, I've gotten pretty fast at it, which is nice, but yeah, I don't know. It's liberating, I gotta say. So we'll do that at some point.
Well, so do you want to tell sort of, because you told a little bit about it last stream, but you want to tell a little bit about like what the history is on this, or
Yeah,
do you
well,
want to
maybe
wait
we should
until you
do it
do the
all at
thing?
once. Like when I mean, do you want to start with this and then we'll do the jaw after, or do you want to
Sure, either one.
waste time and talk, digress a little more first? And
Um,
I guess we're gonna have a short.
Well, we
schedule.
only have an hour, right?
any
So
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, any opportunity or things that I can do to cajole you into playing more of it, I will, because I love the way that it sounds.
You've heard me play keyboards, right? I mean, you're not getting any,
mean,
great performances
You
here. So
you
I'm not
say that, but as
Jean-Michel
someone who doesn't
Jarre or
play an instrument, it's
Wendy Carlos over here. Just
I know I should go get my guitar
all right. Let's have a
just to
jam
spite
session,
you.
man. Yeah, we
I've
totally
got
do.
I've got a
Judy-
blue acoustic, man.
Hey, dude, do you know any Supertramp?
I fucking wish, Jesus. I gotta agree with you too about the analog thing. I really, really, really miss being behind an analog soundboard.
Yeah,
I just being
Yeah.
able to, and having the 31 band EQ and being able to squelch manually and
Mhm.
just so much beauty to it. And so much I don't think talent, but skill. Definitely skill.
yeah,
You have to learn.
and muscle memory. There's a lot of
Yeah.
muscle memory, like because you're actually physically moving things.
You've got to hit those knobs and bring this down and
Yeah.
bring that up and mute this and
Yeah.
oh,
I
I
got this
loved it.
friend named Jeff who I haven't seen in ages, but we used to play shows together a lot in the mid 2000s, and just like we played around New York, mostly, but we did this one show at this place called Otto's Shrunken Head, one of my favorite names for a bar ever.
I
fantastic.
recognize that name too.
Yeah, Otto's it's been around for a long time. You may have been there even. It's kind of a dive bar on the, I would say, Lower East Side, but it's actually like the East Village, I guess. It's 14th Street and I don't know, First or something like that. I think it's First Avenue.
If I
So
did, it was
anyway,
in the 90s, but
okay, who knows where it was before I knew about it. But
anyways, go on.
so we walk in and there's the bouncer who's like also like the tech guy, right? And I'm like, that's a mistake. But all right, whatever. I don't know anything about this guy. So we go set up in the back, and the first person starts playing, right? And Jeff and I are listening. We're like, this room sounds like shit. Oh, look, they got a graphic EQ. So they had like a graphic
Right,
EQ
yep.
on the side. So Jeff goes over there and literally just massaged the sound. I mean, like he literally just took his hands and molded the position of the sliders for each frequency until it sounded right to his ear, and it sounded great. I was like, oh my god, you just fixed the room. That was amazing. It sounds so much better. He's second up. He gets up on stage. He starts playing. During his first song, the bouncer dude walks into the back room, looks around, checks the crowd, looks at the graphic EQ, and goes like this. Walks over and goes,
Oh no!
Oh,
and then walks out of the room.
sounds like shit again.
I was like, well, what was the purpose of that?
Just because he didn't have control. It's probably what it was.
Didn't have control and just didn't know what it did and thought
Yeah.
that looks wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never looks like that. I'm going to put it the way it usually looks because
Yeah.
I don't know and I don't really understand what it does.
Yeah, there's a lot of the populace that is like that, for
Yeah.
better or
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
The other trick that really good sound engineers know, and this one is like been one of my all-time favorites, and you've probably experienced this. How many clubs did you ever play where the owner would come up and be like, "Can you turn that down a little bit?"
Just like, dude.
Yeah. So what I got really good at was having one slider
Yeah.
that was connected to nothing.
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah,
you
the
just bring it down a little bit, and they go like, "That's better."
Yeah, right. That's
You're
beautiful.
welcome, man. We're good. Yep. See you
Yeah.
later.
In studio technology, that's known as the presence knob.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same idea. It's a knob that's connected to nothing, and the
Or the
client just
factory air on the Mackeys.
yeah, right, yeah,
Shit was
yeah,
awesome, dude.
yeah. So
Oh, word.
yeah,
So that
exactly.
said, though, you have
Yeah.
this new toy. What is the new toy,
And I say, all right. So we're gonna get into this.
Please. Yes.
and
So
what's its history?
I guess I'm gonna shift my camera. You won't see me, and that's probably a good thing. But
Ah,
you will see my synthesizer, which is a much better thing, frankly.
so
So there,
wonderfully self-deprecating, this guy.
All the gearheads out here.
so you guys can see that. I
Clear
think.
as a
Yeah, yeah.
bell.
Sorry about my messy room. I got a milk crate over here, a back.
Dude, milk crates are like the thing that all musicians had.
You got to have milk crates, you know. At least you're not seeing a big pile of cables all bunched up, which is
Or
under.
or dirty
It's
laundry.
fair.
Yeah,
It's fair.
it's literally right under there.
Nice.
Okay, so this is an Oberheim OB1 synthesizer. It's an analog synthesizer, which means it runs on analog circuitry. Um, and there was this thing called the revolution, digital media revolution in the 80s.
Was there?
Once that happened,
Tell me more.
computers, yeah, I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm just going to assume people know nothing. Um, but anyway, so um, this was pre the digital revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Synthesizers changed, audio changed, everything went to computer. There's a lot more plasticity on a computer. You can change things and then change them back much easier.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of things that computer allowed us to do, but much like old vinyl versus CDs, people started to notice that there was a trade-off. That digital audio didn't sound as good in certain ways. Digital audio has made huge leaps since then. It's much, much better now, and you can make it sound pretty damn close to analog gear and analog recording, down to like plugins to add tape saturation and things
Yeah.
like that. All the stuff that we think of as adding quote warmth to the sound. So this has that stuff in spades right out of the box. You don't have to do anything to it. It just sounds really limited and it sounds really amazing. And I when I first got it, I said that this sounds like this is the sound of electricity. That's literally what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like voltage pumping through some circuits. It's kind of amazing, or being generated by circuits.
Yeah, yeah.
So here's a sound. We're gonna go. I'll go over real quickly like the different parameters and options here on the synth. Like I said, it won't take long. There aren't that many. You'll see what looks like a lot of knobs compared to today's gear. That's because there were no digital tools for this, so everything had to be a knob or a fader or something.
Sure.
You're going to see a lot of that stuff on analog gear. Um, so this is a sound I just made before the stream, and I'll play a little bit of this. How's that volume?
You're
It's
good.
good.
So that was as close as I could get to a sound I programmed in 1981 for the soundtrack to Splatter University, which
Nice.
is the vinyl right there. Um, so that was the first score I did, and that was a sound that I used in a specific scene. Um, and I just like it because it's really noisy and abrasive, and it's kind of just haunting and scary and freaky, just
Mm-hmm.
kind of unnatural sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you can, so that's manual mode. So we'll go over that. We'll also go over presets, which are they're not actually presets. There's user memory slots. So this comes with no pre-programmed sounds at all. But whenever you get a sound you like, you can hold down the right button and hold down one of the 8 numbered slots here, and it will save that sound to that slot. Um, then you can go back to manual mode and still have whatever it is you're working on, and change that, and then save it again if you want to another slot. Um, so those slots will it's got a battery inside, so it'll just remember the settings for those particular slots. There's only 8 of them. I guess it was a big deal to have memory of any kind
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh yeah.
analog synth at the time. I believe it really was. I mean, that was a big. You didn't see many of them that had memory. Um, so, but basically, the main controls here. We'll go over this stuff last, probably. The main controls here are VCO1, VCO2, and VCF, and that stands for voltage controlled oscillator 1, voltage controlled oscillator 2. Those are basically the sound generators, and voltage controlled filter. So that's what filters the sounds and
Mm-hmm.
messes with it. Then over here you've got the filters envelope, VCF envelope, and then envelope is, you know, the time component, right? How long does it take to fade it in? How long does it hold a certain level? And how long does it let go and fade out? So you've got one of those for the envelope, so like the filter. I'm sorry, one of these for the filter rather, and one of them for the overall sound, the amplitude, just basically the loudness of the two oscillators. And on the oscillators, you've got some frequency knobs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a preset, or not preset. I keep saying that they're not presets. A user memory slot, and I'm going to tweak that so you can hear these things operating. So let's find one here. That's a really standard, very simple sound. So it sounds like an organ, right? It's really standard sounding. So that's being made up from these two oscillators. So this one, on each of these, you've got a frequency setting, a waveform setting, a wave width really is what it is.
So that's that
And
compression and.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got then the type of waveform from sawtooth to square wave,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got some other stuff like octaves, and then you can decide how much of the modulation section, which is over here, will affect this particular sound, and you've got that twice, so it's the same thing twice. So I'll give you, let's see, I'm going to take,
So you're almost dealing with like a Euro rack here, what we would currently term a Euro rack.
yeah, well, Euro racks are basically well, they're modular synthesizers. So the idea is that it's not an all-in-one thing. You buy a module that just creates a tone, and then you buy another module that filters it, and you got to buy another module that makes a sequence out of it, and you can build, you know, sequences into it, or an arpeggiator. There's all kinds of functions, and the idea is that if they're sold modularly like that, you can build the synthesizer you want from those modules, right? And that's why they're very popular. They're also extremely expensive to, you know, to build anything worth using.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit extremely expensive, but they're more expensive, you know, than a lot of things in music. But this is kind of like was thought of as basically, you know, an all-in-one box. It was the most things they could pack into one box at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nowadays since everything's on a computer, you don't need to worry about that, right? Everything's offloaded to the computer. The keyboard is usually literally just a controller, and the controller is just sending information to the computer, which is making the sounds and tweaking it in software. So yeah, a modular system is yeah, exactly. A modular system is a hardware system of each of these things would be a module, and you could buy them individually and plug them together. So so this one is the frequency. Let's see. Let's start with the wave. I must be controlling the wrong thing here. Oh, I know what it is. Right. I've got. Oh yeah, yeah. I can't do it from a preset. So the whole thing is you can't. I forgot. You can't alter the memory slots. Once you save them, they're saved.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go
Until
back.
you save over them again.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to save over this. I like this sound, so I'm going to save it into slot 1. So I'm going to hold down right and then press 1, and that should have saved it. Yeah, so it saved my. So I'm switching to a different sound, and now I'm switching back to the one I made, and it's still there.
Nice.
So I always double check it after I save it.
Oh, of course.
Go back to manual mode, and now I'm gonna basically take this across. I'm gonna try to make this more plain vanilla sounding. Um, so let's take. I'm gonna take the envelope all the way down, and the filter. So now basically you've got just a really straightforward fast attack sound. It just pops in like that, right? Let's take the portamento off. All right, so I'm tuning it. I can choose the,
That's cool.
the what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, the main frequency, the root frequency of
Mm-hmm.
the sound. That's the sawtooth wave. This is the square wave. It's a little bit harder edged. You've got.
So you have a sine wave?
Their sign. No,
Okay.
no. And the reason for that is that you can kind of affect the triangle wave or the sawtooth wave
Sawtooth.
to get close to a sine wave. I guess I'm not really sure why, but okay. So I'm gonna do this. So this is the fundamental. That's what it was called. The fundamental pitch. This is, you can add an octave in. Right. So you've got that. And you've got a fine tune here, and then you've got the waveform. So if we're going to stay on the square wave, I'm going to take it all the way to narrow. Doesn't sound very different, but it's basically making the waveform wider.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got modulation. So let's see. I think that won't happen until we actually start playing with the modulation over here. So that we'll just leave that. Okay, so now let's turn on the second one. So you hear that second tone in there?
Yep.
So I can tune that to the same note or a harmony of the note. There's the same note. So I tuned it an octave down. Okay, so same thing. We can play. So this one's on square wave, so I'll put this one on the sawtooth wave and maybe give it another octave in there. Okay, so you can already see it's kind of doing some stuff. What do we want to do here? Okay, there's a cross mod which will cross modulate one oscillator with the other, and that can get pretty wacky if it's. Yeah, you can get some pretty alienating sounds out of that.
Very funky.
Yeah, so you get that's one way to get a really neat percussive kind of sound. So if I took this and this is the envelope I'm controlling now. I turn the release all the way down. So now as soon as I take my finger off the note, it stops, right? If I turn up a little bit, you can hear it.
Extending.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do percussive. I mean, I could probably make it a lot more percussive than that. Do-do-do, 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 etc. Okay, so
Yeah, I absolutely hear what you mean about the. It sounds like electricity. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really kind of extremely limited machine for what it is, but at the time it was like, whoa! And it just has, because it's so limited, it has a really distinct sound. That's the upside of being super limited. People remember the sound. They say, "Oh, well, that's that thing from 1978 that they made." So let's mess around with the attack on the envelope here, the amplitude envelope. So that's how it's fading up to the note. And a little more release. Okay,
Yep.
so let's bring the filter in a bit. That's where you get that analog synth sound is the filters.
Mm-hmm.
What people usually go for with analog synthesizers is the quality of the filter. Like if the filter is known to be a really good set of circuitry that just makes a beautiful sound, that'll make the thing really worth some money. And it's just the way they were built, the diagrams and the manufacturing. So let's see, let's mess with this a little more resonance.
You know what this is reminding me of from the digital era, though?
What?
Do you ever play with the Korg M1?
Oh yeah, I love the M1.
The
Yeah,
one that
yeah, I'm
had the
a big fan of
discs?
digital synths actually,
Yep,
especially early digital synths.
yep.
I'm a big Yamaha fan.
I remember the Yamahas too. We had one of the first bands I worked with, the keyboard he had 4 keyboards. He
Hmm.
had the M1, one of the Yamahas. I think he had two of the Korgs, a Yamaha and something else. I don't remember. But the M1, the reason I think it reminds me of it is because of that saving, because you had to throw in a disc, save the sounds,
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
disc out.
That was
Yep.
yeah. By that point, you could actually save things externally, which was
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
great. That was a big advance. Um, the M1, I remember when that came out. Within a month, you started hearing all the presets in TV commercials.
Yep.
I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, God
Yep.
damn it.
God, what year was that? Was that like 92,
Yeah, something like that. That's
94?
yeah, it's a good guess. That's probably right around. It was right around then because I remember it was right before my brother and I made our first record, and it
Mm-hmm.
was we didn't have one, but the guy whose studio I was working in had one, and we used it on a couple of things. I think we used there's a famous piano sound that the M1 had that everybody loves,
Yep.
that we used for something. Um, so okay, so anyway, basically you can start to hear that filter.
Hey Clayton, you know what I'm hoping to hear?
Hmm.
The Michael Myers theme.
That's super cool.
Right? So I haven't really got. I'm just to try to not make this go on forever. I haven't gotten to the modulation side of things. There's an LFO, which stands for low frequency oscillator.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the purpose of those is to create a vibrato effect.
Mm-hmm.
It can also create a rhythmic kind of effect. Right now, I've got it affecting the filter, so it's sweeping a sine wave sweep. By the way, it's sweeping up and down on the filter, so you can hear it opening and
Yep.
closing. And if I hold that down, it'll just keep
Mm-hmm.
going through the filter.
Up and down. Yep.
So I can change the rate of that.
So this is the early flange / phaser.
Yeah, you could make a flange out of that by making it
Mhm.
fast enough, I guess.
Well, because
So
I used to use them for like really slow, long round. Didn't have to be fast.
that's a square wave
Mm-hmm.
LFO, and then it's got sample and hold, which was always everybody's favorite back then because it was like, whoa, man, it sounds like robots.
Nice.
Such a funny
Suddenly, I'm in fucking Logan's Run.
Yep.
right, exactly. Really quickly, there's keyboard effects, which are basically you could transpose. Let's take this down a bit. Hang on. Right, so it transposes up and down. There's three.
Oh, neat.
And then there's portamento, which is the glide, basically the glide function. So, for instance, so let's make that longer. And that's
Nice.
the Keith Emerson sound, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see how you could get really lost in that for a long
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah. Yep. It's nuts.
Chris is like, I feel a
Especially-
little called out.
Especially now that weed is legal.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Oh, and then there's the pitch bend, of course. Right now I've got it set to modulation, so it's actually modulating the sound. And pitch bending it. Oh, down is mod and up is bend. Let's see.
God, remind me to show you. Somebody covered it's a guitar solo with a keyboard matching it,
What's
and
that?
I was just gonna say, remind me to show you. There's a guitar solo from one of those really progressive metal bands,
Uh-huh.
so it's very really intricate, and the keyboard player is keeping pace with the guitar player, note
Uh-huh.
wise, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
with the pitch bend and everything. It was
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
beautiful piece.
Oh, right. Yep. Yeah, that was a
Anyways,
thing. That was a thing for sure, right? I used to love Edgar Winter's White Trash when I was
uh
a
huh,
kid. As a
yep,
teenager, and they had Edgar Winter group after that, and they had that whole thing where they would Edgar Winter would just like the band would stop and he would just go and the guitar player would go
yeah.
and it was different every show. So like totally improvised. He just had perfect pitch, so he could just find the notes without even thinking about it.
And Frank Zappa did that with Steve Vai.
Yep. Yeah, Steve Vai definitely would be able to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so that's it. So it's the Oberheim OB1. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but these are some of my favorite aspects of it. I could go through some user presets here. So we heard this one already. Whoops. Oh, hello. Hang on. I love that. Okay, and then there's this one. And then there's kind of like a horn sound.
I'm hearing 70s cartoons.
Super bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
That's got it. It's tuned to. I think that's a fifth. Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's like a classic. Yeah, 80s synth tone. I'm pretty sure this is the patch that. How did it go? I'm trying to think of that Cars. You know,
Yep.
the
I
Cars.
think I know which one you're talking
Cars
about too.
They had the synth
Mm-hmm.
lead in the middle of it. Yeah, this sounds like the same patch. It wasn't the same synth, but it was an
No.
analog synth, and he probably did something.
I was also hearing, what was that Eddie Murphy movie with the dun 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 dun, dun what?
Oh,
yeah.
fucking
Faltermeyer, Axel F's theme.
Yeah.
yeah.
I heard that somewhere.
Wasn't 48 hours. Was it 48 hours?
No,
I think it was.
Beverly Hillbilly, wasn't it?
No, Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills
Not
Cop.
Beverly Hillbilly. God damn it! Ah.
See,
I'm gonna see.
this is what White Claw does.
Got nothing to do with White Claw. It's just me. It's
I'm
just
never
me.
gonna let
I'd
you
love
down.
to take
Never gonna let
advantage
that
of
off,
the.
man.
It's just me. Fuck.
And I'm thinking, I'm such a child of the pop culture because every time you say the name of the keyboard, say the name of the keyboard.
Oberheim.
No, do you have? There's a whole.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. What do you hear immediately?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's.
I just think of Oppenheimer and like nukes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, basically the nuke of keyboards. Yeah.
Keyboard nukes.
Keyboard nukes. All right. So, thank you for being such a kind and generous audience. All the
Dude,
money you threw
I
out.
love that shit. I really do. I swore to myself I would never be a gearhead, and I fucking love it at this point.
It's good
Yeah.
stuff.
It's hard to resist sometimes.
It's an expensive habit. It's a real
yeah.
expensive habit,
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
especially
If I
for
had the
someone
money
who
for it, I would be too, man.
Yeah.
can't.
There's
Yeah.
just no way.
Yeah, no, I was, it was hard. It was honestly, it was a kind of a tough. It took a while for me to save enough to to be able to justify getting this thing fixed. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really tell the story of this keyboard. So this belonged to my friend Bob Lewis, and we were teenagers together, and he was the keyboard player in my band, my very first band in freaking God, I don't know, it would have been 75 or something
Okay,
when I was a
that
teenager.
brings up a really important question. You were
Yeah,
living in New York at the time, right?
New Jersey,
Okay, it's even better. You living in Jersey. So
Jones.
every time you guys got together, did you go, "Hey, Bobby"?
No, but he would have smacked me if I did.
I heard the minute you said Bobby, my friend Bobby, and you said 70s, I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
please tell me they did that."
Why is that a quote from something, or is it?
It's just like the classic,
Uh-huh.
New England, that whole, like, anytime you'd hear that, somebody'd be like, "Hey, Bobby." That was the thing.
Whenever Tamara and I hear the name Phil, we both go Phil
Yeah.
from Groundhog Day.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so Bob Lewis, so he was an awesome guy. He was a keyboard player in our band, and he just like I think his interest was more in electronics than it was in music. He
Mhm.
was a good keyboard player, but like he just bought every new thing that came out. Um,
Ugh.
and I don't know what the deal was. I don't think his parents had a lot of money, but they allowed him to buy a lot of new gear. And so he bought a 4-track reel to reel, he bought a mixer, he bought this, he bought an Elka string synthesizer. That was all like within a couple of years of each other.
Mhm.
I borrowed all of that stuff for my first soundtrack. I just borrowed. He was like, "Oh, you should let me hear. You should do. You take the job here. Use my stuff." He just like brought it over. We picked it up together. Brought it over to my house, my parents' house. They were away for the summer down the shore. I stayed in Trenton, which is where I grew up, for that one summer to make this soundtrack. It would have been '81,
Mhm.
and I just graduated from NYU, so I was home for the summer, and I set up in their like the playroom, the big main room where you enter, right, like with the TV and everything. It
Yeah.
was right in the middle of the room, so like basically that I just took over the place, and so he loaned it all to me, and then when I was done with the soundtrack, I was like, you know, do you want to sell any of this? I could probably raise enough money to buy at least one of these. I eventually bought the 4-track reel to reel tape deck, the
Mhm.
mixer, and our Oberheim OB1. It took me a while to buy this.
Oh
He
yeah, I
actually took
bet.
it back first, and I eventually bought it later. Um, but anyway, the guy was just very generous with his gear, and he said, "No, it's great, man. Just give me a credit in the film." So he got a credit in the film,
That's awesome.
and he unfortunately, like about, I guess it would have been like probably the late '90s. He died. He had a just freak just like a freak heart attack, just out of nowhere. I guess he had high blood pressure. He was definitely way too young to die
Mhm.
of a heart attack, but
Mm-hmm.
some people it just happens. It's just hereditary, and the poor guy died. So, R.I.P. Bob Lewis. He was a great
Yep.
dude. Um, he. Oh, you know what? Oh, I wonder if I can play it. So, do you guys know what a Mirage keyboard is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's an early sampler,
Yeah, I
relatively early.
remember
It's
the
like one of
Mirage.
the earliest affordable sampling keyboards out
Yep.
there.
It was
So
awesome.
he bought one of those too,
Mhm.
and he called me up. This would have been 1985. I know because it was my wedding. It was our honeymoon. We were in Europe for our honeymoon, and he kept calling my phone machine in New York and leaving message after message, not knowing where we were. He's like, "Where are you guys? When are you coming back? You got to hear this thing." And he's like playing the saw sound and like all these sound effects on his computer. He's like, "This is the greatest thing ever. Look at this I can do with this thing."
Google it right now, Clayton. You want to
I'll,
see
I'll
this?
I'll Google. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I have an audio file on my desktop
Mhm.
of one of the phone messages he left for me.
Oh man,
I just
no
listen to
way.
it all the time because it
That's
just cracks me
awesome.
up. Yeah, but he was a great dude, and that one I didn't buy, but I did borrow it for a little while. I remember that.
The
Uh,
Mirage was its own company, or who made
and
that?
and Sonic.
Oh, and Sonic, right,
Yeah.
right.
So they later made even like I mean that was a groundbreaking machine, and it
Yep.
they probably funded their entire production of everything
Most
else with
likely, yeah.
one keyboard.
Yep.
And then they made the I had the Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus Turbo, which was a rack mount monster. It was like a
Wow.
full face
Yeah.
rack mount. It had built-in effects from their own patented DSP 4, I think it was called, or
Hmm.
something like that. Their sound effects.
ESP 16.
Yeah, that's different. Oh, EPS.
EPS, yeah.
Yeah, EPS 16. Yeah, so that was the sampler, and then the effects unit that was built into it was called. I think it was. I remember it was DSP some 4. It was something 3 letters and a number 4. It had amazing quality digital effects, and you could map them all to faders on a keyboard. It was freaking great. I loved
Looks
it.
like it's a DMS 8 or a DSK 8.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Rack
Anyway,
mount
yeah.
version of the DSK was later released.
Oh, that's actually a separate sampler. So I'm just talking about the name of the effects unit that's built into the EPS
Oh, okay.
6. So it's because they made it on its own as well. I think it was DSP4. I can't remember.
It's a
Something like that.
big motherfucker.
Yeah, it's
So-
This-
four rack spaces.
Yeah, dude, it's 4RU. That's huge.
Yeah. Right.
So, Chris, I also want to entice you and give you the whole nostalgia thing with the picture I'm putting in the public broadcast text chat.
Skinny Puppy uses this.
I
Oh, yeah,
had
that makes sense.
4 of those.
Oh yeah.
You remember those? I had the
Yeah.
Alesis, I had the Yamaha,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
the
Yeah.
482.
Oh yeah, TX8 is that TX? What is that? I can't say it. Let's see. TX 81Z. Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
I think it was the
Yeah.
81Z. Yep.
Yes, that's one module from the it's like basically a slightly dumbed down DX7. So it's got
Yeah, I
like
remember the DX7 too.
fewer operate. I think it's like 4 operators instead of 6 or something like
Yep.
that. But it's just it was a great unit. I love those. This all this stuff, and that's a DBX noise reduction unit, is it?
Yep.
On the bottom?
Yep.
Yeah. And the Marshall amp.
Oh,
Right. That's excellent, man.
it was like I said, it was just one of those things where you're like, oh my God, I forgot all about those.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is the thing on the top? I remember those.
There was like I can't, if I could see the name of it,
I can drag this off to my desktop and look at it bigger.
you'd have to look at that one bigger. I'm not absolutely positive on that one, but if you think that one was badass, check out this one.
Thing originally listed for $1,700.
Uh-huh.
Which did?
The Mirage.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So,
nice.
do you remember the SPX 90s?
Yes. Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Those were the Yamaha effects units. Yeah.
Yep, we had the 90, the 90X, the
Yep.
509, and then the 900, the 1000,
Oh, this
and the
is your
990.
day right here. This is great.
Oh, dude,
I couldn't afford all that, but I had a Rev 7.
Oh, the Rev 7s were awesome though.
Yeah, it was a nice unit. Yeah, and it's funny because where I teach at NJCU,
Mhm.
when I first started teaching there, I walked into the room that they had built, and they had a Rev 7 and a Lexicon PCM 60. And it's like I had both of those effects units. I was just so happy to see that they existed somewhere.
I know, and you're just like, oh my God, the memories of actually programming the different effects in and scrolling to find the
Yeah.
middle of the show.
That says at the bottom of that thing says Rockman something.
Oh, the Rockman. Yeah. God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to look it up again.
Yeah, I can't quite read it. It's a little too pixely, but it's the D4. Yeah, it's great. All right, so we're being total. We may as well just
sorry.
stream about gear at this point. Anyway, but yeah, this is great. These are wonderful.
Yeah, the Rockman was a headphone amp.
Oh, right, of course, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I like my headphone amp. That's the one thing I do
Oh,
have.
man.
I've,
I do not have that.
I have a well, hold on a second. I have it. Hold on. That's what I use in my studio.
Chris, what do
gonna
you use
refresh
for-
while you're doing that? What?
What do you use for an interface for your mic?
I use I not too long a couple years back I bought a new one. It's the Audient. I just want something small for my office is small.
Mhm.
It's Audient ID14. it was about $250, I think. And
Nice.
Just one in, one out. Or sorry, 2 in, 2 out. And yeah, it's good. It's got a pretty good what's that? That's your mic. Your headphone amp.
So I can get to actually.
Oh yeah.
Come on, focus. Fuck.
Okay. The Predator. The Predator.
It's an Emeline. So this guy, Robert. No, I'm sorry, Ray Samuels. Go to raysamuelsaudio.com. This dude makes beautiful pieces that are extraordinarily high quality. They are also extraordinarily expensive.
I was just about to say.
But you want to talk about the difference between just having the headphones amp and listening to music on anything. I mean, I normally am connected to my interface, and so I get pretty good because it's got a built-in amp on the interface, but I get nice audio. I went on a business trip not that long ago and plugged into my laptop, which is just a little Lenovo, Think Center or ThinkPad, whatever the fuck it is. Oh, I hated life. I hated it. Chris, I was doing sound design on, which episode was it?
6?
No, I was in Florida, so it must have been 3 or 4. And I was like, how the fuck? I can't even hear half the shit that's going on in these things. It was a mind-blowing experience. So I highly recommend. And he makes just pretty stuff. Lots of tube amplifier things, and it's just gorgeous. But now that we've gone onto, holy shit, the deep
gear.
We've gone through the wormhole into the other side. Do we want to play some Jaws?
Yeah, you want to play the 2 Jaws and then we'll wrap it, I guess?
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go with episode 7 or issue 7, entry 7. I'm not sure what we're actually calling them, to be totally honest. Entry 7, and then entry 8. So without further ado, please enjoy the Judy Audio Wiki. You are listening to the Judy Audio Wiki. Entry number 7, Dental Services of East Haddam. Established in 1972 by James Willover, DMD, Dental Services occupied part of a building on Old Route 17 that had held a manufacturer of prosthetics. The previous tenant, Giovanni Fusi, sublet a portion of the building to Willover, whose dentistry grew quickly. Upon Fusi's death in 1977, his business was willed to his son, Dr. Anton Fusi, DDS, who soon became Willover's partner. Trained in dental surgery, the young Fusi was known and trusted in the town of East Haddam, unlike Willover, who lived several towns away. When Willover's family moved out of state in 1984, Fusi bought his half of the business and continued his practice in the same location. According to an investigative article published after his death in 1987, Fusi had become obsessed with contested theories about human evolution and was believed to have engaged in experiments with fish enzymes injected into human subjects.
Today I administered the 17th enzyme treatment. The bulging of her eyes could be a side effect of the treatments.
He makes it sound like a biology exercise.
A notorious classified police report about the night of his death has never been released to the public, but rumors about one of his patients, 9-year-old Judy Katerbeck from Mudskagen, allege that the girl had received these injections from Fusi, which dramatically affected her physical development.
The metal braces around her jawline have had to be reinforced and extended. It's disturbing to look at, but shows that the expression of the atavistic traits continue, with a sharpening and strengthening of her bottom teeth. These traits are homologous to distant marine ancestors.
The classified report on Fusi's death has been at the root of numerous conspiracy theories in the years since, some alleging a connection to Becker Pharmaceutical Industries and the rumored appearance of the Tremina race on Earth.
Come on, over by the wall there. Get over there! Stay on your side of the room. You smell like 3-day-old fish heads.
Dental Services was shuttered soon after Fusi's mysterious death. The business remained uninhabited until being demolished in 1994 in the expansion of an interstate highway. All right, and on to entry number 8. You're listening to the Judy Audio Wiki. Entry number 8. Becker Pharmaceutical Industries. Becker Pharmaceutical, or BPI, was created in a leveraged buyout of several smaller corporations in 1985. Headed by Magnus Becker, the company quickly gained value as an innovator in the burgeoning field of biotech. In the early 90s, it was revealed by various investigative sources that BPI had entered into a number of contracts with the Department of Defense, starting in 1987. Former employees have since come forward with information detailing these contracts and the peculiar research they enabled. Some of this research reportedly involved the storied rocks of Mudscoggin Marsh, which were thought to have had strange effects on those who maintained prolonged contact with them.
Are you okay?
My rocks!
Becker himself was said to have headed up the efforts to harness this power, bringing on experts in the field, such as Dr. Giustina Nubili and her partner, the Italian audiologist, Dr. Isabel Scafano. These two documented the effect of the rocks on the local North American green frog population, which appeared to have grown larger and adopted a bluish hue after exposure.
My God, what happened to the frogs?
The sonic phenomenon from the rocks is changing their development.
And it's giving them an uncanny mental connection to each other.
Telepathic frogs, so I didn't dream that.
BPI's involvement in the events outside Tadpole Daycare Facility in Mudscoggin on November 4th, 1987 are unconfirmed. But a branch of the regional SWAT team, known for unconventional tactics, appeared to have received substantial donations from BPI and was involved in the daycare incident. On that day, a group of locals, who were referred to as the Cult of the Blue Frog, found themselves in a violent confrontation with SWAT, in which 2 civilians and 2 members of SWAT force were killed.
Back up! Get away from... Sergeant Watt, get in that Ranger and drive!
Yes, sir!
Get these civilians under control, soldier!
BPI denies involvement and has not responded to inquiries about the tragic crash of one of the company's helicopters that evening in a storm in the northwest part of the state. The crash killed 2 additional members of SWAT and the aforementioned Giustina Nubili. No connection has been made between the cult, which met at the local apostolic church, and the experiments conducted by Nobili and Scifano, but the coincidence of the blue frogs and the activities of both seems to indicate a deeper association. Ta-da!
So there are a couple of reveals there, actually. Not really, I wouldn't call them reveals, but a couple of things that we didn't know, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
I think so.
But
When they're revealed, was there a dun dun dun?
Only in our hearts. Only in our hearts.
Still
you
one
know,
of my favorite things.
Yeah, right. Dun dun
I
dun.
don't know why. I don't know why. It
Well,
just
what's
is.
I mean, the internet corollary to that is what was he called? You know,
Oh,
the
there was a cat, or a squirrel, or
no,
a
no, it
mouse.
was the not badger. What the
Oh, it was a.
yeah.
Holy shit! Why can't we think of this?
A piece of music that just sounded. Oh, you know, it was from a Japanese children's show about animals.
Yeah.
And it was what are the, like
Come on,
hedgehog-
Clayton. What is the little furry
Oh,
animal that everybody had
no,
as a pet when
prairie
they were a
dog?
kid?
Prairie dog.
No, it's not a prairie dog.
Well, they didn't call it a prairie dog, but I
chinchilla?
think it actually was. A prairie,
No,
I think it was actually a prairie dog, but
it could
they-
be. Yeah, it might have been a prairie
But
dog.
in the memes, they called it something else, like
A
just something more
hamster?
common.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
I think the name of the meme was something like the dramatically reacting hamster or something like that. But I'm pretty sure it was actually a prairie dog,
Yeah, I think it was.
like a Japanese prairie dog,
Bizarre.
which might look a little bit different from American ones, North America.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's it right there.
it became like it was ubiquitous. This freaking thing.
Yeah, you find Clay, you watch it, and it's gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right.
It's
Okay.
great to see it in that you can watch it in the context of the original children's show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's completely unremarkable. It just happened to be that the cameraman was zooming into the prairie dog's face right at the moment the prairie dog turned around, so it looked like this dramatic like.
Yeah, like if you look, it's dun dun dun, and the prairie dog's eyes are really wide, and
I'll watch a little bit. I'll watch more off
it's
stream.
it's literally 1 second. Literally,
Well, I
it's
can't
one.
because then the stream cuts away. And I
Oh
can't do that.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but the main thing was that you know we actually finally hear the name of the daycare center that all that action happens in at outside of at the end of Mandible Judy. It's called the Tadpoles Daycare Center, which
because
I
how
think was
couldn't it be?
appropriate.
Has to be.
And
Happy little
Big
tadpoles.
Silver, we didn't know about the history of the building that East Dental Services of East Haddon was housed in. Yeah, and I don't know. There's a few other things. Yeah, it's a knowledge base, an evolving knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I think people
Future
like it too.
generations will find it and understand what happened to the human race.
No one understands. Well, none of us will understand.
Oh, by then, like, it's just going to be like the ancestors of the Gathrona are going to find it because nobody else will be around anymore.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that all finishes out. I mean, there's just so much that is if the more I think about it in connection with the different timelines and when we're watching stories happen and the different places that people have come up with things and like how, for example, Bookman came across Tremina Blood. So clearly, these things are out there elsewhere, and it just is. I love it. Oh, I love it. There's implications galore.
Just ask Alex Canby.
Alex fucking Canby. I love it. He just went ham on it too, right? Alex fucking Canby on his birth certificate.
Yeah.
So, but he did like his. He went from having this bizarre experience in his studio to going full in on like evil overlord. He was I'm getting the pond. I'm gonna build out the lair. It's gonna be a whole thing. I am doing nothing by half measure.
Yeah,
I just love it.
You clearly should have written this.
I don't know about that.
He'd be doing like this.
Right?
No, that was Jack Penny. Yeah, it was the
right.
$1 million.
So stupid question there. What I mean, because I know he was, what's his face, was modeled after Dr. No, but where the hell does the pinky thing come in?
Yeah.
I think that's literally just Michael Myers being Michael Myers.
Mike Myers.
Yeah, like literally, it's one of those things where it's kind of like the etiquette thing. You know how like when you drink tea,
Yeah, sure.
the finger comes up. So he was just kind of like,
Right.
I don't know. That's my guess. I am not educated in acting etiquette in that response, so I have no idea.
I don't know.
And Michael Myers definitely had a very short but fiery career where he just did everything in a 10-year span, got it all done, did wonderfully, and then disappeared, which I think is great. That's exactly how you do it.
Is he like raising a family now? What's he doing?
I think it's kind of a lot like who was the guy that did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Rick Moranis, who's now coming
Rick
back.
Moranis. Right, he's coming back now, but he left the industry to literally raise his family. So, and there was nothing else. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. There wasn't anything going bad in his life. He just literally was like, okay, I need to take a break because family's more important.
Yeah, well,
like,
he's got
what a great guy.
whole tragedy. His wife died and all that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Ugh.
too. But
Rough.
Yeah.
there's actually
Yeah,
quite a few like that.
He's one of my favorites. I mean, I like his film career fine, but I mean, the Second City TV stuff is just priceless. He was
Mhm.
so
Oh yes, yeah. SCTV was like when growing up, I remember watching that. Like, what was the? uh
Jerry Todd.
No, it was him, and it wasn't John Candy. There was another character that Rick Moranis sat with.
Yeah, Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, what were they called? The Canadian brothers.
The Canadian brother, but they were like, take off, eh? Yes, that
Yeah.
was it right there.
Yeah.
Take off, eh?
Yeah, take off, eh? What were they called? Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Bob and Doug McKenzie. Thank
Right.
you. Yep, that was the shit right there. Hey, are
Yeah.
you done with the stream, my bro? Are we doing this early?
I guess we're wrapping it up here.
I guess I guess we do. I guess we wrap, and then we'll talk about future plans.
Right.
Plans
our
within
lairs.
plans.
I mean, we have three. I mean, this qualifies. This is my lair. That's
Yeah.
your lair.
Accurate.
That's your lair.
Yeah.
You know, you've got
Legion of Doom.
I have masks.
The minor
all right.
Legion of Doom. I could go get my
We're the
mask.
leader. We're probably the Legion of Disfortune. Or
Yeah, that's probably
misfortune.
accurate. Although one of mine I wouldn't want to get right now because it's still the epoxy's still curing. We don't want that glued to my face, or not even glued to my face. Just worrying about inhaling noxious fumes.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
It's a bad idea. Don't inhale.
Don't try and put a mask on while you're wearing headphones.
That too, but for real, like, wear, what do you call it? Bunch of fucking show-offs. Hold on. God damn it, you jerks.
Come on. Come on.
The headphones don't work as well with these things, do they?
Wow, that is impressive, Mike.
I love this mask.
It looks especially good with the headphones. The bad thing about this is it's hard to drink.
You get prototype mask.
Dude, I can't drink in this mask. I have to take it off to drink.
We get prototype mask. Okay. So
Nice. Dude, is that what I think it is? From
Don't break it.
Halo?
So what?
That's beautiful.
Is that Halo or is I recognize that?
No, it's just
Oh yeah, it looks a little bit like the Elite Covenant.
Yeah,
Elite.
you see what I'm talking about.
the big old head and the side thing. No,
Well,
it's
no, yeah.
It's the same guys who do actually Chris's mask, Wintercroft.
Oh,
It's
nice.
Wonderful.
But
This
is
is
it meant to be a thing? Is it meant to be a mantis or something?
It's part of their Eidolon experiment, which was awesome.
I should wear this thing more
It was
often.
very cool. I shall not wear that because it does not fit on my head with a pair of headphones. So,
All right, so yeah, wrap this up because I got something to share with you, and then we'll make plans.
cool.
All right.
Well, Mandible Judy fans and folks out there, thanks for bearing with us, and hopefully you enjoyed the Obi-Wan and the Jaw and our banter because we are delightful. I'm not sure what you're doing, Chris. I'm confused.
He's telling you to wrap it up.
And you know,
Just work. I'm a video artist. All right?
got it.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
Good-
Any final words for the folks at home, Chris?
Yeah, one. That's all.
Okay. I thought you were coming with like a hard "fuck you," but that's not right. Don't do that. I mean, you do it if you, but only consenting adults. Okay. On that note, everyone have a good night.